Hello, everyone. Before we start this week's podcast, I just wanted to hop on and say a few things. First off, this episode was recorded on Tuesday night, and it's going to be posted on Friday, so we hope you and your family had a very safe and happy Thanksgiving. And a side note about this episode, I realized about 10 minutes before we were done recording that I was wearing a jacket that made noise every time I moved. So if you hear some sort of crinkling sound throughout the episode, it's just my jacket and me being stupid. It is only episode 3, so we're still learning every week, but we're getting better, and that's all that really matters. That's all I really needed to say. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of Why the Hell Not? Anthony, I got a fact for you.
All right, shoot it.
Interesting fact. Did you know if you folded a piece of paper 42 times, it would be thick enough to reach the moon?
That's cap.
I don't know. That's what it says. It says, yeah. Well, the first one says, yep, you read that correctly. So if you fold a piece of paper, it doubles in thickness. You fold it in half again, it doubles in thickness again. So it'll continuously double in thickness. And 30 folds would be thick enough to reach outer space, which is 100,000 kilometers. But, unfortunately, the world record for the number of folds is 12. So you're never going to get there. But interesting to say the least.
That's a thick piece of paper.
Yeah, honestly. I need to come up with better facts. I think we're going to find more. I think we should do the ones with the TikTok, the guy who's always doing the I need answers and stuff.
Right.
Some of those are funny.
Yeah, till the minute he sues us.
Yeah, that's also true. No, just kidding. So we have a couple things to talk about today. I think number one that we were going to talk about was the Grammys, right?
Right.
So the Grammys nominations came out today. I think the biggest thing, at least in our world, is The Weeknd not being nominated for anything, despite the fact that, I mean, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but he had one of the best albums of the year.
Oh, on God.
Not just rap or R&B album, like best album of the year. And Blinding Lights, everybody knows the song. If you don't know, if you're going to say that you don't know that song, you're lying. You know exactly what song it is when you hear it. The biggest song of the year, it was on top of the charts all year. It didn't get nominated for best R&B song, not best song overall, nothing. And we just saw recently he went off on Twitter or no Instagram, went off on Instagram, kind of calling out the Grammys. But I don't know what you think about it.
I mean, it was probably the top album of this year, and on top of that, not just Blinding Lights. Again, it was the second song or the first song he released off of it, which was Heartless. You're gonna sit here and tell me that neither one of those two songs that not just were on the radio, but on TikTok,
everywhere,
on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you're telling me that The Weeknd is not worthy of a Grammy nomination for this year?
Yeah, and we just read right before you read the thing about the Super Bowl,
right,
where there's reports coming out that the Grammy basically said it's either us or perform at the Super Bowl, and I think, obviously, wisely, he chose the Super Bowl, but that pissed off the Grammys, so they decided not to give him any Grammy nominations, which is kind of screwed up.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it goes to show what the Grammys really are. I mean, I've been saying for years I don't really agree with the Grammys as far as, solidifying how good things are. I say the same thing in sports nowadays, too, with, championship rings, The way that people win championship rings nowadays is so different from, 20 years ago. So, when you bring up championship rings in a LeBron and MJ debate, it's okay, cool, yeah, LeBron or MJ has more rings, but, LeBron's been to more NBA finals. He's had to carry more teams than MJ ever did,
That's true.
And then aside from that thing, Chris Paul doesn't have a ring, but Alex Caruso now does. You know what I mean? We're not gonna sit here and talk about championship rings solidifying how good somebody is. So I think the Grammys are the same way. I think especially in recent years, they've been pretty bad. Especially last year, but I mean, we always talk about, was it 2014, 2015?
With
when Macklemore.
I think it was 2013.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because Swimming Pools was freshman year of high school.
It was, yeah. So I think it was 2013. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick. I mean, that literally is one of the best albums ever. Honestly, one of my favorite albums ever, for sure.
I'm gonna make a leap here or reach. To me, I feel like that album is probably Kendrick's top album.
No, 100%. It's not even a question.
Don't get me wrong. I think Damn was good. To Pimp a Butterfly, you had to be in a mood for that one.
People hyped up To Pimp a Butterfly.
But I think, in all honesty, I feel like Good Kid, Mad City is probably Kendrick's crown jewel.
100%.
And the fact that
It was fantastic. And again, it's kind of in the same as the Weekend argument.
Right.
How many of those songs were on the radio? Like,
Right.
all of them. Right? Poetic Justice is on the radio.
Yeah.
Don't Kill My Vibe.
Right. Swimming pools is all over the place.
I mean, so there was
Money Trees. Even now, Money Trees is being blasted.
Yeah, but then again, if you play, Devil's Advocate, Macklemore, half the songs on that album are also on the radio all the time. Thrift Shop and Can't Hold Us, right? I mean, there's other ones I can't remember.
Like, I listened to that whole album. And don't get me wrong, I think Macklemore, pretty talented dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can go in there and rap and do a great job with it, and he's repping the PNW, which not many people come out of there making rap music. But I mean, comparing, like, we'll say, like, his top one probably that aired all over was Can't Hold Us.
Mm-hmm.
Now you put that up against probably any of those 3 songs we just named from Kendrick.
No contest.
There's no contest. But the fact that he won it, which again, I'm not saying there's no fans for Macklemore, but again, just the fact that Good Kid, Mad City was kind of looked down upon as compared to, what was that album called? The
Heist.
The Heist. Yeah,
film.
it didn't make sense. So,
well,
and that's not even the one that blew my mind recently with the Grammys.
Yeah,
you know that. You know which one it is.
But what I'm trying to figure out is, do you know off the top of your head if, like, the Grammy, I'm assuming the committee, like the Grammy committee, votes on it and not like the fans or anything, right?
Yeah, no, the Grammys aren't a fan voted award.
I feel like
that's kind of what, like, the American Music Award is.
It should be a thing where, like, the fans have not a majority say, but, like, at least some sort of say. You know,
absolutely.
Like, I don't think it should be left up to all these people, because I'd be willing to bet that a lot of those people don't really listen to rap music. They're probably older individuals and probably don't enjoy rap music.
Right, and they'll pick the ones that they'll think are mainstream good.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, if you look at the fan base of it, it's not a competition.
Yeah, and I guess going chronologically, like you said, the one we all know is Travis Scott not winning. Was it 2018, right?
Yeah,
2019 Grammys, probably.
I think it was 2 years ago.
When did he release? I think he released in 18, right?
18 or even like.
I think he released in 18, and then it was the Grammys
for 19.
Oh no, it was probably 18 because it was in, like, November. So probably right. Grammys 2018. Cardi B won it over him, and, like, again, like, that album by Cardi B was pretty good. I listened to the whole thing. It was actually very good for a debut album, right. Honestly. But I mean, you and I are definitely on the same page about Astroworld. It honestly is one of the best albums I've ever heard. It literally is one of the albums that I know when I listen to it, it feels like you're going through an amusement park. And that's what the theme of the album was an amusement park. But, like, you literally feel, you go through so many different moods, and even, like, the song Sicko Mode it feels like a roller coaster. It starts up, stops again, starts up, stops again. Like, so I think that's what made that album so good. It was an experience. It was more than just music. It was an experience. And then, like, right. We went and saw it live too, and it was the same thing. Like, when you saw it in person, it was
everything. I mean, it was worth the ticket. It was 100%. Worth the ticket price.
Absolutely. And, the fact that Cardi B won it because she did a spin-off of a Kodak Black song that went viral on Twitter.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's not right. And then, I mean, as recently as last year as well, there were very good albums up for last year's rap album of the year. They gave it to Tyler, the Creator, because, I mean, I don't know why. I listened to it. I didn't think it was that good. It's definitely not a rap album. But
I don't know. They probably looked at it as if it was they probably took it as it being a reach or a difference in terms of what rap could turn into, and rap can't change. Rap is going to be rap. I mean, there's going to be different ways to perform it, but the way, like, Igor came out, or Igor, however you pronounce it.
Igor, I think.
That's not a rap album.
No, it wasn't.
It was a good idea for Tyler if he wanted to go that
absolutely.
route. But
it just doesn't fit the genre.
It doesn't.
The genre.
Right. Sorry, and the other thing for me too was, like, if the committee or whoever kind of picks the winners of this, it's just that fact of, if they did want to keep it mainstream, then, I mean, like, I still don't know how I like it like that. Cardi B's spinoff of a very famous iconic Latino or Latina song compared to the reaction of Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
Everyone lost their mind when the beat switched, when Drake came in, or when Travis was doing his verse. Everybody was, and on top of that, I mean, a song that was out for the longest time before even Astroworld came out was Butterfly Effect.
Yep.
last time I checked, Butterfly Effect is always a banger.
100%.
Always a mood. And every time we went to the club, that was, you pop that on and everyone's going to get hyped to it. I like it like that, or I like that, however it's pronounced. I mean, it's a catchy song, but I'm not going to get into no hype mood over it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more of like a culture shift. Right. You know, now that our generation is, you know, in their mid-20s now, I think that's where things are starting to get different, which I think you see it in the Super Bowl the last couple of years, Shakira and, you know, Maroon 5, and now this year they're putting The Weeknd on. Like, I think that's such a smart idea because it's kind of a culture shift. It's the younger generation, all the things that, you know, our parents... Or well, not, I guess not your parents, but like my mom grew up listening to like classic rock. You know, my mom grew up in the '80s, and stuff like that. And so you know, growing up, like they listen to their music, and then they hear like rap or whatever you listen to, and like they don't really like it because it's so far off from what they listen to.
Right.
And you know, for the longest time, I think it's been, you know, that age group, that generation that's been, you know, judging the Grammys or doing all that stuff. But now I think more and more people are getting older with time. I mean, even think about like songs that we think about when we were like in elementary school. Like think about the people who were like in high school at those times, you know, that probably like in their 30s now, you know, like that are probably in their 30s now and they are getting to that point in their careers where they're going to be the people making decisions like that. So
I think for me, like I would love for those guys, because I mean, if that's the case, you look at whoever was in high school at the time. Whenever like some of our grade school songs come out, like. Don't know, I would love a dude who fucking fell in love with New Boys.
Oh, yeah.
To be a fucking judge. Do not get me wrong.
Those are the days, man.
Like, someone who goes up there and will jerk to a song, hey, man, like, he can be my voter. Or whoever,
for sure. But, I mean, obviously, I don't really want to talk about the election, but I think it was kind of the same thing, you know. A lot of people our age and a little younger see things a lot differently than a lot of people older than them. Yeah. And I think that's why results of the election kind of went the way they did, because it's a culture shift. You got all these younger kids now that can vote, and 18, 19-year-olds, you know, obviously are going to see the world a lot differently than, you know, somebody in their 40s or 50s or whatever. That's true. You know, so I think it's, and especially in the age of social media, it's just a crazy culture shift. And I think with COVID, I think it really just kind of, you know, made everybody put themselves into a bubble and, you know, realize where we're going. And yeah, like I said, culture shift. I probably said that 10 times, but
right. But no, but I mean, even then, like, since we all went into this bubble, right? You would kind of, you would think, you would listen to a lot of music, which again, routes it right back. Don't know how The Weeknd doesn't get a nominee.
It like logically it makes no sense.
It doesn't.
If it is the point of the Grammys is to reward the best songs, albums, performances, whatever of the year. And if you're not going to literally put the top charting song of the entire year up for a nomination, that's unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I don't see why. Again, that he can miss it. I mean, even when you think back to it, I mean, even like probably the album that had good songs on it that was from him, but he still got nominations was Starboy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Starboy wasn't really blasting all over the radio waves. Like, yeah, like the title track was. You had a Reminder. I mean, realistically, nothing else off that album played drastically on the radio. It was a great album.
The Daft Punk song too.
Yeah, was Get Lucky on that one too, or not Get Lucky?
I Feel It Coming.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like, you have,
but that's a good collab because Daft Punk is for an older generation or the older generation.
Well, on top of that, I mean, the thing that I love about The Weeknd, especially how he's gone into this like kind of switch within these past two albums, is like that old kind of like 60s or
techno type,
this groove kind of like 80s movement.
That's
or whatever.
All Starboy was. It kind of felt like techno.
And you know, like he's kind of kept it a little bit with After Hours. After Hours was, again, I feel was top notch. Not Beauty Behind the Madness top notch, but definitely can compete with Beauty Behind the Madness. And just the fact that he didn't get the nominee is very disappointing, and I don't think the Grammys know what they're doing at this point. I strongly,
not at all.
And it's sad because if we do run through the list, I mean, I don't want to sound rude. It's a catchy song. I'm not gonna say I play it because it's not in my playlist anywhere. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna see Savage win probably 2 awards when I don't think it deserves to win over certain songs. I was just gonna give you kind of like who I think my personal stuff would win, kind of just the top ones, like record of the year. Mm-hmm. If I were to run through the list, I mean, Rockstar was a great song.
It was, and because they made that spin-off, what's it called? I guess like the spin-off version. Why do we keep saying spin-off this episode? We've said spin-off like 4 times.
Have we?
I think so, yeah. It was I guess remix, you could say.
Right.
He did a remix, with the whole Black Lives Matter thing. He did a remix for some award show. And I think that's what boosted the song because it as many different opinions as people have about stuff like that, I think it really was a very well said verse. And when you're somebody like him, if you have that platform, especially on that stage, literally stage, like at an award show, you use it that way if you want to.
And I mean, on top of that too, I mean, like another one I would love to see win, probably not going to for what is this, album of the year? Yeah. Really going through the whole thing, probably Hollywood's Bleeding, Post Malone. That had a few songs on there, whether you didn't like them because they were overplayed or anything. That just shows you the album was good. And again, I know we can definitely switch it because, again, the Grammys, they're just not my best friend for this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
So, but like, I could go through this whole thing and pick what I believe to win. The only one I would love to see win is, just personally, I would love to see Dior win, just because why not?
And honestly, the way the Grammy does, because he passed away, he damn well might,
Probably.
The way that it goes.
Right. All right. So.
All right. Well, anyway, I was going to. Hold on. I was gonna start because we do this all the time when we're playing like PlayStation stuff.
Oh, right.
Like, would you rather questions?
Oh God.
I think this is kind of funny. We do it.
All right, go for it.
I mean, I think we've asked this one. It's a pretty common one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I would say the duck-sized horses.
I think I'd probably say the same.
Because I mean, if you really think about it, dude, a
duck-sized horse is
huge.
A
horse-sized duck. I mean, a duck when it bites at you is already annoying. We're talking a duck that's bigger than us.
No, thank you. I just started kicking my feet.
Like I'll punt Secretariat 9 miles away.
Dude, oh my God.
I'm not going up against the Goliath of ducks. Like,
yeah. Would you rather begin every sentence with "Hey, idiot," or end every sentence with "Haha, I was just kidding"?
Oh,
that could get interesting. Hey, Mom, I'm pregnant. Haha, just kidding.
Oh, but you really are. Oh, that would suck.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That would suck. Wouldn't it? That'd be terrible.
Okay, fine. Off the bat, I would say, hey, idiot.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Because probably at some times people will probably think you're joking, but it would suck if you get into a profession.
Hey, idiot, my dog just died.
Yeah, or me, if I want to be a doctor, hey, idiot, you got cancer.
You have cancer, yeah. Oh, my God. That'd be terrible.
But I'd rather do that because I don't want to be like, you got cancer. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I think idiot is just a funny word, to be honest with you. Would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or live 10 lives that last 100 years each? That's an easy one for me. I'm doing 10 different lives. 100 years each.
Yeah.
Imagine being yourself right now for 1,000 years. No, 10.
No, but I feel you. It'd be cool because, like, we've already been around for this long. It'd be cool to see the next kind of whatever 1,000 years will look like.
Yeah, and I think 10 different lives, it doesn't say whether you'd be yourself 10 different times or 10 different people, but I think either way it's interesting.
It'd be just like the Everybody album.
Yeah, honestly.
Where you're everybody.
Yeah. So I think 10 lives that last 100 years each. Because like even if you're yourself for 10 different lives,
right,
you could do things differently every time. Like you could live, maybe one life you're going to just be super good and polite and, very well behaved, and then in another life you're gonna be like a badass little kid who like doesn't listen to his parents and like just different.
Or be an athlete one, or
Stuff like that.
Musician in the other.
Yeah,
Politician
exactly.
next one.
I think another topic we wanted to get to was memory lane, because we talked about this on the last one.
Right.
Where we were gonna.
The good old fashioned rabbit hole.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start. Obviously, as soon as we get one thing out there, it snowballs. And that's what exactly happened last time. When we've talked about it, like when we're playing video games or something. We think of like one song from 10 years ago, and it just snowballs from right there.
All right.
I got it. You talked about the New Boys earlier, right?
Okay, yeah.
New Boys. Remember, You're a Jerk.
I know.
I mean, I know. But what was that? Probably like.
Dude, that was I think 2008. No. Yeah.
9?
No. Because that was when we were going to the Rio Vista thing. So, 2009, 2010.
Yeah. Let's say we were going to all those dances and stuff.
Right.
What cartoons did you watch as a kid?
Dude, I was a hardcore Cartoon Network guy. So,
Really?
I was, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I mean, The Kids Next Door. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. That was my go-to. But, I mean, I was also, Nickelodeon. I think for me, it was, I pretty much watched whatever the classic Cartoon Network was before they really started changing up. And I think that was right around the time when you were starting to get to high school.
Yeah.
And then Nickelodeon, whatever that was up to that time too. I was not really a big Disney guy, not anti-Disney. I think one of my favorite Disney movies from growing up was Lilo and Stitch.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was a pretty big Disney guy.
Well, I mean,
it was for the time.
I know that.
For the time being, it was not a very popular, I guess, interest. When I'm watching Hannah Montana at age 10.
No, I mean, you want the truth, dude. I was, I don't know, age 6, and on Cartoon Network was the Powerpuff Girls.
Listen, bro. I was watching Hannah Montana. I was watching, what else was on Disney Channel at that time? I don't even remember.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are obvious. The Sweet Life of Zack Cody, Sweet Life on Deck. I think Sweet Life on Deck was low-key better than the first one. I feel like it was funny. You didn't watch any of those?
I'd probably caught an episode.
Oh my god!
Like I said, dude, I was really more the Cartoon Network Nickelodeon kid.
Show was so fun.
Danny Phantom, that was my thing. SpongeBob.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Classic SpongeBob was
Disney Channel. Obviously, I watched High School Musical. We went through this the other day. You said you didn't watch. You never watched High School Musical.
I never watched one High School Musical movie.
Dude, High School Musical 2 when Gabriella leaves Troy. I cried my eyes out. I bawled my eyes.
I couldn't tell you who Gabrielle is. That supposed to be Vanessa Hudgens?
It's Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh.
I literally was watching it on Disney Channel when it premiered, and I was bawling my eyes out, bro. It was so sad.
Nah.
And I had to go back to school the next day and probably act like I didn't watch that. What are you talking about? High School Musical was on last night.
But your ass looking like a miniature Justin Bieber.
But what's gonna happen if I go to school as a 10-year-old telling everybody I watched High School Musical last night?
I'm pretty sure the kids that played football were admitting it.
But they were the cool kids,
I guess that's true.
So
I guess that is true. I wouldn't know what that feels like.
Yeah, me either. What
I was always picked last for football.
I say High School Musical, and dude, my first concert. You know what my first concert was? The first concert I ever remember going to, the Jonas Brothers.
Oh
yes, at Auction Pavilion, which it was called Cricket Pavilion at the time.
Wow!
But that was my first. My mom bought me and my brother to go see the Jonas Brothers. We sat in the lawn. I remember it. I remember it pretty well. That was my first concert. Oh. I would say it was honestly it was weird. My interest growing up, I had the normal interest, but then I just kind of got hooked into some of those other shows.
But
one of my favorite shows,
it's completely normal. Again, I literally watched Powerpuff Girls. That was my Mojo Jojo, bro, the freaking evil monkey. Yeah, that was my stuff. Bro.
I think especially as a kid, it's just important to whatever you find interesting. Who cares?
Right,
that's a big thing nowadays. Just be you. Don't try to fake it or just be you. If it's not popular at school that you're watching something, it doesn't matter. You're gonna grow up and none of these people are gonna probably matter, or they're gonna forget about this anyway. And it's
I think the funnier thing too is watching stuff at an earlier stage, not trying to be a hipster, I did that first or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it was I think by the time we were hitting high school, remember dubstep was breaking through.
Oh yeah, when Skrillex was starting
Bangarang.
Skrillex was the first person I ever remember putting out those kind of music.
For me, the first person I heard for dubstep or electronic music was Deadmau5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
and
mean,
from there,
those
like
big
I was
too.
listening to a lot of the Europeans, and then like Skrillex. I don't know, is he American? Like I don't want to sound like racist, but like was he American based or was he European based?
I
feel like he
couldn't
was
tell
American
you.
based.
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, so like, but the funny thing was, is I remember I was blasting that like No Tomorrow because I thought that stuff was great.
We all did. We were all dancing
But,
to it.
right? But I think the irony in it is like I tried passing it off to another few people, and like they were telling me I was weird for listening to it. And now we fast forward a little bit to now, and those same people that said, "Oh, electronic music or dubstep was weird," they're popping mollies at raves right now.
Crazy,
Like,
bro. It's
I mean,
crazy.
good for them, but like for me, like I've kind of grown out of it. Like I don't really see the hype for electronic anymore. Same thing with like anime. Like there's people are into anime, and it's something cool if you want to watch it. Like I'm not dogging on anyone who's an anime fan.
Again, bro.
For me,
if it
like
interests you, who cares?
yeah,
you know?
for me, like the first animes I watched and then I stopped watching as I got older was like Dragon Ball Z and I think like Naruto when it first came out. I just kind of grew out of it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
one of my favorite shows growing up was Fairly Odd Parents. I love that show.
oh dude, that was
love that
that was
show.
another show. But that was Nickelodeon. See, like,
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought about getting a Timmy Turner tattoo, only because I had a one of those like temporary ones like you do with the
Right.
water and stuff,
Right.
and I put it like right on my wrist,
right.
and I thought it looked so cool. Like obviously, I don't want to fall into that trap of like when I'm 23, I think it looks cool, and then when I'm 45, I have a tattoo of Timmy Turner on my wrist or something. It definitely wouldn't have gotten on my wrist, obviously, but
I mean, you could do like a crown,
Yeah.
like a crown with the wand.
That's
bro,
true.
Like
That would be fire, actually. Low key, you might have just done that. You might have just done something there. Hold on, you might have just done something there, dude. I definitely. Did you ever see yourself getting any tattoos?
I do, like, I know for sure, like, I'm gonna get one. I don't want to sound messed up, but like when my like grandfather passes away,
Yeah, same.
like I'll get one there because you know he's my Cuban heritage. But like I don't know, like a fun one I've kind of thought about, man. Like one that I got the idea or wanted to do because of an ex-girlfriend of mine, but at the time we were together, was Logic's Peace, Love, and Positivity. I wanted to get those three symbols because I feel like honestly a lot of people should live by that.
Yeah,
Whether you're a
100%.
Logic fan or not, you should live by the fact of peace, love, and positivity.
Speaking of Logic's tattoos, I really like the one that he has on his hand that says like "look around" or whatever. Do you know what it says?
Yeah, it's look around.
Yeah, he is it look around?
Yeah.
He has it like right leading off of like his in between his thumb and his index finger.
Right.
And he said he got it so that when he catches himself on his phone all the time, he'll catch a look at the look around,
Yeah.
and it'll force him to get off his phone. Like that's a pretty cool tattoo, you know. Like
Right.
I mean, on your hand is a pretty crazy spot to put that.
Right. I feel like you want the truth, man. He's done great with like ideas for tattoos. 'Cause
I
he's
think
he's
the-
not gonna look back and be like.
I think
it's
the
stupid.
exact opposite. I think
Really?
him and like Drake, their tattoos look terrible because they
Well, I mean, the ones that are like half like
they literally
up the
just
wrist,
like
you know?
it's like they slap stickers on themselves. You know what I mean?
I
I like.
guess.
I feel like when you're gonna get a lot of tattoos, you have to like on your arm. Like what I plan on getting like. I don't know if I'm gonna get a whole sleeve. I could see myself getting a whole one arm
Okay.
sleeve. That's it. I wouldn't go any more than like one arm.
Right.
I'm never gonna cover my whole body. I might get like something on my chest at some point because that's something people don't really ever see. But as far as I would go, it's probably like a whole like my left arm or something. But like if you're gonna do a whole arm, like you gotta find a way to, like put it all together, mesh it together. Like literally, Drake and Logic are the two examples that I know pop in my head. They're all their tattoos just look like stickers, just pasted on their arms, and it's like it has no rhythm to it.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I guess obviously to them it's their body, and you know they think it looks cool. That's cool, I guess.
Right.
But I think it looks funny, and
I think for me is the purpose of like. I mean, in terms of like what I meant by like Logic is like even though they look like stickers, like how he placed them, I feel like the choices though he made behind getting them, I think made sense. Like announcing for like Supermarket, like that's his first global book. Like if he wants to like forever remember that, even though it's gonna be his book and everyone's gonna know it's his book, like he put that on him. The other thing was like when he was with Jess, the happy wife happy life thing on his ring finger, like that one's like it's kind of funny but like makes sense.
another one I thought about getting was an ASU pitchfork. Pretty much that
I
one. That's
won't
right.
lie,
on
I
your-
kind of thought about getting that.
I mean, I just graduated from
Right.
ASU. That'll never change. I'll always be an ASU graduate. ASU is a part of me forever.
Right.
Obviously, I grew up here and have been an ASU fan since the beginning of time. I plan on being an ASU fan for the rest of my life.
Right.
I would even love to go back and work there. if an opportunity opens up. But that's the thing where like you can't take that away from me at all. Like Arizona State is forever a part of me.
Right.
And you know that's why I said I would only do like one arm, because it would have to be something you can hide, which I've never really understood that. Obviously, if you have like inappropriate ones, hide it. But I know like some restaurants where like if you have tattoos on your arm, they make you wear like an arm sleeve, and it's like. Right. My tattoo says peace, love, and positivity. Why do I gotta cover that up? That's stupid, right? You know?
Right. Well, yeah, see, and that's the problem with me is because whenever I do think of getting a tattoo, it's going to have to be pretty planned out if I want to go into medicine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's hard to have a tattoo show, and people, I guess, in that professional industry, find it professional if you...
Which I think, as, again, this whole time we've been talking about culture shift, that's got to be the title of this episode, the culture shift or something. Yeah,
it could be.
But I think that's something, like you just said, that's something that will fade out over time, because tattoos will become so much more normal. Like back in the day, tattoos was like unacceptable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nowadays, it's like it was like a stereotype that if you were getting tattoos, you were a bad person, you're a bad kid, you're like, you know, against the system or whatever.
Right.
But like nowadays, like kids just get it because they're cool. You know, every girl wants to go on Friday the 13th and get a cheap tattoo, a little heart on her ankle with her best friend that she loses contact with 2 years from the date they get the tattoo. But that's why for me, like you said, like your grandfather, like same thing, you know. Obviously, my grandfather, my grandmother, obviously my mother, but that's, I'm hoping to God, far away, you know.
Right.
Those are obviously people who, especially that they're still alive right now for us, have had such an impact on our lives. Those are people that you want to put something on your arm to remember them, so that every time you look at it, you think of them. Happy thoughts. You know, if you put something on your arm for your grandfather, every single time for the rest of your life that you look at your arm, you're going to see his face and you're going to probably smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's going to be the same way for me. You know, it's a big part of your life. And so stuff like that. Like I could totally see like when I have kids, you know, to get something, you know, obviously I won't go into my whole story. You know my story as far as fatherhood and all that.
Right.
But, you know, that's something that's very important to me. And I think if I were to just get like my kids' initials or names or whatever, like it's a constant reminder that they are your kids, and like, you know, that is now your purpose in life, is like to guide them, and you know, it's something that you should never forget.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, if you do try to forget it, it's on your arm. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah.
I think there's a lot. I remember growing up, I was like, there's no way in hell I'll ever get tattoos. Never, absolutely not. But as I grow up and I see a lot of things that mean a lot, and you know, it's definitely doable. And like you said about the medical profession, I think, like I said, the culture shift, that's got to be the 6th time we've said that this episode. We're repetitive. This episode's repetitive, dude.
This episode is brought to you by Shutterfly. Get your photos online.
No, they don't. No,
yeah,
we didn't get paid for that.
Yeah, we don't get anything.
We didn't get paid for that. No, I think that's something that'll fade out over time, because when kids our age, or like people a little younger than us all are in the professions, like, you're not going to be able to find many people with no tattoos, you know? It's going to be, like, impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
A perfectly qualified individual with zero visible tattoos, like, that's just not... Because a lot of people our age, when they were in high school, went off and got stupid tattoos.
That is true.
Impulsively, you know, like I just talked about, but...
Subtweet.
Yeah, that one wasn't a subtweet, but it could be taken as a subtweet.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I love how we got to this topic from cartoons. Yeah, hey, that's how the podcast is supposed to go. It's supposed to be twists and turns.
I feel like that's, honestly, it's not even like how the podcast is supposed to go. It's more like people realize, like, this is our conversations. Like, we'll go from point A to point B, but then we'll take a sidetrack to point Z, but then come back to point C.
Again, that's why we started the podcast, because like literally some of our conversations are just ridiculous, and some of them are interesting or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, like, if we weren't sitting here with our phones to our faces right now recording this, we would probably still be talking. We were talking before we started the podcast about whatever, like, I mean, about the Grammys and stuff, like stuff we've talked about on this episode, but like, that's just what we talk about normally. Or I would have went home and we would have talked over like PlayStation or something.
Right. Just having a conversation.
Yeah, we're talking all the time.
Right. And I think for sure though, we definitely gotta try and not stay on the topic, but like when we do go about like the rabbit hole, that way these people like understand this like kind of friendship that we got, because that in itself is kind of a crazy kind of wave in a way. I mean, it's not like we both like vanished for 22 years and like I came back from the future, blah, 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 Terminator. No, it's more like just the fact of kind of just how kind of just started, just grade school. And then, like, I got memories with you, like, especially you invited me with your mom to go to a spring training game. Remember that to this day. It was like a nighttime game. There was I think it was like the Padres were playing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And the funniest thing, too, that I also have a memory
I've been to so many spring training games, I don't know.
Is the other memory that comes along with that is the fact that I think at the time you were in, like, somebody else from our school, like,
actually, I think I do remember that.
And, like, you were asking me, like, what should I, like, or, like, what do you think? Or, like, it's not cool that they're doing that.
I remember a couple years ago when me, you, and Garrett went to the spring training game.
Yeah, but that was our college days.
Yeah, exactly. That was when we were a lot older. Yeah, but, I'm trying to think of what else I was as a kid, like, was watching or doing.
I can definitely go through our.
I'll bring back a memory for you. Little League. Did you ever play Little League?
I didn't with Rio Vista.
Oh, damn.
You had that luxury of
Rio
Vista League.
I did.
And that I was extremely jealous of because that looked like a dope league.
You want to know something interesting?
What's up?
I have 2 second place trophies at home.
Oh, look at you. Yeah. Look at little Dicky
Wait,
style.
second or 2 or 3. I might have. I think I have 3. Now that I think about it. Oh God. No, I have 2. Do I? I don't know. 2 or 3. I'll have to check. But no, literally, because like the way we did our Little League was like there was AA, AAA, majors. Like,
okay.
Kind of like.
Dude, that's so dope.
I know.
See, I'm jealous. I never really went.
Kind of like regular baseball,
right.
But like it's obviously the different age groups, but they make it to sound like Major League Baseball.
Right.
And like so, when I was in AA, I think. Or maybe AAA. I think it was in AAA. I played for a team called the Scrappers, which they based all the AAA teams off of AAA teams. So we were the Scrappers, and like they were like from Ohio or something.
Oh, okay.
The Scrappers, but I mean, that was our team, and like I remember I played on that team for 2 years. The same coach. I loved that coach. He was so cool. He was one of the guys that like I always looked up to as a coach, as a mentor.
Right.
But like we were on that team for 2 years, and we got to know each other. And when you play, it's exactly like pro sports. When you play together with people for a certain amount of time, like you get better. The chemistry gets better. So like we got better as the years went on. But
right.
I can't remember if both years we got second place or 1 year we got second place, and then maybe 1 year we got third or something. Mm-hmm. But the thing that pissed me off is that the year we got second was we lost to a team that wasn't even in Rio Vista League. It was from a different Little League that they didn't have enough players in their league to form enough teams, so they merged with us. We merged with 2 other Little Leagues and made 1 Little League.
Wow.
Under Rio Vista. Like they all played under Rio Vista, but they were 3 different Little Leagues. And the year we lost, and I thought this was so interesting because I brought this up to my mom during the MLB playoffs because, people Cody Bellinger's a little older than us, but who was it? What's his name? From Nolan Gorman for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
He went to Sandra Day O'Connor, and he's probably 20, a couple years younger than us.
Right.
And I said to my mom, like, I wonder if, like, Sandra Day O'Connor's really close. Like, I wonder if I, like, played against this kid in Little League, Because I very well might have.
Right.
Like, obviously there'd be no way to know at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
But so we played against this team. They were the White Sox, and I remember they had a kid on their team who, at the time, when I'm probably 10 years old, 60 miles an hour is pretty damn fast to try and hit a baseball. The kid was throwing like 60, 65, and just would run right through us. Like, I think we got like 1 hit. Like, it was unbelievable. And
all I heard was protege.
Oh, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I wonder if that kid ever did anything. I wonder if he played high school ball or maybe went to the majors. I don't know. But, so that year really pissed me off because, like, I remember raging about it as it happened. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, they're not even in our league. Like, technically we won the league because we were the best team out of our league. Like, that's true. And then when I got up to majors, I played for the Mariners 1 year, and then after you play a year, you can decide to return to the team you already played for or re-enter the draft that they did every year. So I re-entered the draft, and the funny thing is there was one coach in the league that I really did not want to play for. And I bet you can guess which team I got drafted by. I played for the D-backs my second year, and I got drafted to that team because the other coach was one of my coaches for my travel ball team, and I was really good friends with his son, so like he wanted me on his team, so
Right.
that worked out. But the head guy, he was one of those, favor your kid coaches, which I think is unbelievable. I'll never forget the time. This is the last thing I'll say before you can talk, because I feel like I've been talking for 5 minutes.
It's all good.
The one thing I remember is this kid. He was playing first base, and a kid on the other team put down a bunt. I don't remember if this might have been during like the All-Stars or something. Mm-hmm. Oh no, actually we were playing again. My team was playing against him. So somebody on my team put down a bunt. He was playing first base. Pitcher throws to first base. If I remember correctly, the ball was like a little wildly thrown, and then the kid that was running like kind of bumped him, so he didn't catch the ball. The ball like goes right past him, like rolls down the fence. Mm-hmm. So obviously the kid for the runner starts running and keeps going. The ball's like nobody's near the ball. He's gonna get to third at least.
Right.
Dude, this kid, instead of turning around to go get the ball, he sits down on top of first base and starts crying. We're probably like 9, 10, 11 years old at this point. Starts crying in the middle of the game, middle of the field. Instead, what was that from a couple years ago? That center fielder like didn't make the catch and he threw his glove down instead.
For the Nationals.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, obviously it's different. That's a major leaguer versus a kid.
Right.
But the fact is that he would do things like that, and then his dad would turn around and like still tell him that he was good, or still tell him like that he was doing great. And, he would treat his kid like the star player, when in reality he really wasn't. He was really not that good, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
But those always sucked. I don't know if you had any of those, but...
Man, I necessarily wouldn't say... So, like, more competitive life for me was like, football. And never really played on a team before. It was kind of like my first year, and we were doing some running drills, and I guess... I was running better than half of the players on our team, and people were hyped about that. And then I was really interested in the quarterback position, so I played a lot of QB. But the thing, I guess, where I had that kind of like the dad was the coach and was kind of more lenient was the fact that it was just his son wanted to be a QB too. And I'm not going to bash on the dude. If he thinks he did better than me, especially at a young age, then I'm going to let him. I'm not going to sit here being like, I could have gone D1. Like, no, like, this was us just growing up. But, like, I took it a little more seriously. I played, I think, in my opinion, a lot better than this kid. His dad was a coach, so his dad would let him take reps. And, I mean, we'd be turning over the ball every other play. For me, I can guarantee I'll turn over the ball probably in the first quarter. But I would get so upset that I did that. The rest of the game, I just balled out.
Yeah.
And so it was just for me, it was that kind of thing where
I will never, ever be that. Never. There's no shot.
What?
Be that type of parent.
Oh, no. Oh, dude, the reason I ended up having to ball out was because my parents were on the sideline yelling at me.
Dude,
I throw a pick, the dude's already 20 yards past me. I'm trying to run, and my parents are telling me to run faster.
I'm going to be the parent where it's like, if I am your coach, you better work 10 times harder.
That's true.
Because that's the type of mentality people will have. Like, he's the coach's son. You better work 10 times harder than everybody else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And obviously, that's a mentality you get as you get older. But and it's hard for kids to understand that. But there's no way in hell that I'm just gonna play my kid because he's my kid. I'll sit my kid on the bench if I have to.
Yeah.
Because
I feel that. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, if and when I have kids, I mean, if one of them like their dream is to go play professional ball, I don't want to be like those dads that you've seen. Like, there was a documentary of how like strong they were on their kid.
Yeah,
and, like, it was like, I think it was called like Trophy Child or something. I'm not gonna be like that with my kid, but like my kid is like, oh, my dream is to go do this. Well, I'm gonna put you in that direction, but I'm also gonna like be a little rough on you if you want to really get that high. I mean, sports is not you can slack and get by. It's a competitive thing. It's almost more competitive than people trying to get into a certain grad program. Like, you're not just going up against millions. Like, even like the statistic coming out of high school, like they tell you from the start in high school, if you were playing football, like, here's the number of people that actually get drafted.
It's so
or like play D1 in college coming out of high school. I mean, that number is really high. And that's not just you in the state, that's you in the country. So like, if and when I have kids, I mean, dude, if one of them wants to play it, I'll get them what they need. If they need the good shoe or the good bat, I don't care.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure you're performing it, because I'm not going to want to.
I'll give my kid every resource to succeed, but
it's on him.
I literally was just about to complete that, but I don't want to sound like a philosopher. I'll give him everything he needs to succeed, but like you just said, it's on him to make it happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I can buy you a bat, I can buy you cleats, I can buy you whatever, I can buy you basketball shoes. What I can't do is play for you, and what I can't do is give effort, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something I wish somebody would have told me when I was younger. But
well, for me, I just wish I would have probably paid more attention that way, or probably if I wanted to be competitive and do that, probably focus on not eating all those good tamales and stuff that my parents fed me.
no, I remember I played basketball with another kid. It was my 8th grade year, I think, because I got snubbed from getting on the basketball team at my elementary school. That's another story for another day. Right. We can talk about maybe next week or something. But he was the tallest kid on our team, and he was playing point guard. And retrospectively, as as his age, he's probably 5'10", 5'9", 5'10".
Dude's already tall.
Yeah, like super tall, but retrospectively, that's small for a point guard if you go to like high school or college, you know?
Yeah.
So like somebody his size should be playing point guard, because as he gets older, like if he's already hit his growth spurt or whatever, like that's where he's going to need to play. So I get it. But as a 12-year-old, it's extremely frustrating when the tallest kid in your team is the kid who's dribbling out the 3-point line, and when shots are going up and being missed, he's not the one down there to get the rebound. He's the tallest kid on the court. Like,
right.
I don't know.
You cherry pick that anyway. But anyway, yeah. So funny enough, though, you know what that comes with, though, us being what we want to do for the kids in the future. It's a cultural shift, baby.
There you go. Dude, the one last thing I wanted to talk about, because I know I brought this up yesterday, was the describe your life in 3 words. I didn't even see this anywhere. I literally just thought about this. It came top of my head. I just thought about it. Because I'll go first, you can think, I guess. Right? Is that good?
Yeah, we do that.
So, because I thought of mine, and my 3 words would be just awful timing. Because everything in my life, whether it's, I guess I shouldn't say whether it's good. If it's good, it wouldn't be bad timing. But anything that ever goes wrong in my life, it's just terrible timing every time.
Yeah.
I mean, something as little as like whenever I complain about like Call of Duty, you stare at a hallway for 30 seconds. You stare at a hallway for 30 seconds straight, and the millisecond you turn to run away, somebody walks through the doorway and shoots you in the back. And it's like, what am I supposed to do there? I sat there for 30 seconds, and on the 31st second, he walked through the door. And, it's little stuff like that. There's so many different opportunities that have gone by or not gone well because of timing.
Right.
Look at right now. I graduated college in the middle of a global pandemic. Just awful timing.
Right.
Just awful timing. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. I mean, it does get worse than that. But, like, in my case, that's, I think, what it would be for me, because that's just everything. There's so many other situations where it's the same thing, where I think about it, I'm like, oh, my God, it's just terrible timing, you know? Anything from, like, relationships, like some of my relationships that you know about, just awful timing. And it's just not right.
Yeah.
And I think that would have to be it for me, because there's so much that happens where anything really bad that happens feels like it could have been prevented if the timing was just a little bit different.
Right. Yeah, and I guess if I had to pick my 3, and it was literally right after you said awful timing, for me, just complete chaos. That's mine. If I really had to describe my life in 3 words, and I don't mean it in like a bad way, because like a lot of stuff can go on which is chaotic. There could be some good that comes out of it. But I mean, you really just look at my life growing up and just the stuff that's kind of happened both on my part or within my family or within relationships. It's been chaos, bro.
I can say the same about mine too. Just complete chaos.
Like it's
been a roller coaster, man.
Dude, I mean, if we had to bump it up to like 6 or 7 words, it is what it is, man.
That's also true. That's a good point. That's how you have to look at life a lot of the time. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You can't you don't have control over everything.
Pretty much.
But I mean, hey, I think the most important part, especially with, mental health stuff going around right now, most important part is whatever we went through, we're here now. We're sitting right here together in your room right now, just chilling, having a conversation. Right. Everything that we've ever gone through, any problems, whatever, we're still here right now. Yeah. We've still made it to this point right here, you know.
Yeah, haven't lost it entirely.
Yeah.
Have that last little brain cell.
Yeah, seriously. It's a final, you know, dude, sometimes it feels like all the odds are stacked against you. It feels like you're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
And I've always, whenever I see stories like that, I think to myself, I'm like, man, that's crazy. But, like, honestly, when I look at myself, I see shades of that, but it doesn't seem serious to me because, like, it's my life. It's what I'm used to.
Right.
But when I look at it that way, it truly is a miracle that I am where I am. Like, I can't believe I feel like I've had all cards stacked against me from day one. And, you know, but, hey, we're here now, you know. I've had a lot of great opportunities come by. Like, I worked at ASU for 3 years. That was crazy. It was a great opportunity. Got to meet a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, I just worked, like I said, I worked for the Cardinals for, 30 days, but still, like, having the opportunity to, people will wait their entire life and maybe never meet Larry Fitzgerald. And I, for an entire month, and could have been an entire season, see him every single day and like know him like casually.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like stuff like that. Those are crazy opportunities, but those are things that, like, really I had to go get myself. Those are the things that I created, that somebody created for me. So I think it's pretty interesting. But like I said, just awful timing.
Yeah. Well,
that's the bad.
Hey man, I mean, overall we got a lot more to expect.
Yeah.
This ain't the end just yet. So.
Yeah. Well, this was a long one. If I don't cut stuff out.
I felt like you need to because we did hit kind of that.
Yeah, we hit a.
We had that 20-second kind of.
Yeah, there's gonna be stuff edited out, but I mean, there was a couple spots too. I think where we might have rambled too much or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I mean, again, the point of these podcasts is just to record our conversation. So I guess it doesn't really need much structure or anything. But
it's not like we're already famous and have a background to where we can record for 10 minutes.
I cannot wait until we like get actual microphones or something.
That'd be cool.
Like actual podcast microphones. Sit in the room across from each other with the headphones on and the microphone in front of our face, and that's how we talk.
That'd be a lot.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, and maybe we'll get there. So, if somehow you made it to the end of this podcast on episode 3, help us get there. Spread the word, I guess.
Yeah.
If you enjoy listening to us talk, if anybody has any feedback, that'd be cool too, right?
Yeah, leave a comment on the YouTube.
Yeah, anything. But I think other than that, I think we're good to go.
Yeah. Again, this podcast was not brought to you by Wendy's, home of the bacon.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
All righty.